Um, so hello once again. I would also like to take this opportunity to offer my greetings to the many people who have gathered on Zoom, I think. Is it Zoom? It's Zoom, right? We're still using that after the COVID. Okay. From what I've heard, there's around 1,000 people online at the moment. So thank you for joining to receive the teachings. And I would also like to thank Sakya Friends for providing the teachings, translations for the teachings in 12 different languages. And with this so far, I've completed the Jenang, and now we will be moving on to the sadhana. As I mentioned earlier, the sadhana is not a requirement, it's optional. So if you wish to practice, then you may do so. Otherwise, simply accepting Avalokiteshvara is the Yidam deity is sufficient. And if you want to practice but feel like you cannot do the sadhana, you may recite the Mani mantra, Om Mani Padme Hum, the 6-syllable mantra. And that is also sufficient because all of the teachings, the 84,000 teachings of the Buddha, are included in the 6-syllable mantra. And if you want to learn about the meaning of the 6-syllable mantra and the benefits of reciting the 6-syllable mantra, I had compiled a lot of several teachings from different masters concerning the 6-syllable mantra practice, and I had compiled it into a booklet back in 2016 or 17, I think. The book is titled Treasury of Compassion. If you type that, I think you should be able to download the PDF for free on the web if you go on Google. So you may download that and read that if you're interested. But if you can, the sadhana is very good to practice. It's not very long, and it is very simple. The visualizations are not very complicated, and it's much easier compared to more other well-known sadhanas. So it is something which you can certainly approach. The sadhana, which we will explore today, is composed by the great master Ngorchen Kunchol Thundup. And at the beginning of the sadhana, we have the lineage prayer, which was composed by Jaya Khensa Wangpo. So for some of these which are quite clear, there's actually no reason for me to explain word by word. But anyways, it's important to recite the lineage prayer before we practice, because in a way it is remembering the kindness of the gurus, the lineal gurus and the root gurus who took great efforts to pass down this teaching to us throughout the centuries. It is also a way to accumulate merit and to receive the blessings of the lineal and root gurus, so that we may easily traverse the path to enlightenment. So that is the purpose of reciting the lineage prayer. I think, let's see. Up until Shachin Chuje, I believe that part, in the beginning up until here, was composed by Ngorchen Kunga Sangpo. If I'm correct, but I'm not quite sure. I think it was, yes, composed by Ngorchen. But these lineage prayers get supplemented as time moves on, because the new masters who appear and pass down the teachings. So it needs to be supplemented time to time. And even this lineage prayer is not complete because it is up until Thampa Rinpoche Ngol Shenpe Nyingpo, the guru of His Holiness Sakya Throne Rinpoche. So we need to add the name of His Holiness Sakya Throne Rinpoche in here later on. The name included in the prayer at best. So it needs to be supplemented later on. But yes, that is all for that for now. And then I'm going to be looking at the Tibetan sadhana, which is contained in volume Ka, volume C of the collection of sadhanas, the Chutab Kundu. And in here, I don't see any of this information in the Tibetan text. This preliminary kind of visualization instructions. Not that it is wrong, I'm sure that this is very good. And of course, we do need to, some visualizations, there needs to be some instructions like how do we take refuge, how do we visualize the refuge tree, or how do we visualize the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, and all of those kind of details. And which are sometimes not clear in the prayer itself. We have a guest here. Anyways, let's see. But this might appear in another manual, another version, because sometimes these, one writing of a master can have several different versions. It's sometimes difficult to tell which is the original or not. But so far, from the one in the Chutab Kundu and the collection of sadhanas, I do not see this part in here. It's not included. It goes straight to the prayers, the second page, page 5. And anyways, there's no need to explain all of this because it's so literal, it's so clear. So I'll just start from actual part, recitation part. So in the sadhana, in the instruction manual written by Ngorchen Kuncho Lundrup, there is this part, Namo Guru Rena Vardaya. And then after that, it jumps to from now on until enlightenment is obtained. This is what I see in the one I have, the manual I have. So this is the refuge part, as it says, from now on until enlightenment is obtained, I and all beings who are limitless take refuge in the Holy Master, the quintessence of all of the Tathagatas, of the 3 times and the 10 directions, body, speech, mind, qualities, and activity, the source of the 84,000 groups of Dharma discourses, and the master of all the noble Sangha. So no need to explain word by word what this means. The essence of it is that the practitioner is taking refuge to the 3 jewels. So it shows the qualities of the 3 jewels in this verse. And as I said earlier, the refuge is very important because it is the first step in the Buddhist practice. And all of the sadhanas have refuge to begin with as the forerunner to the actual practice. So it precedes all of the other practices. It is at the top. It is the very beginning. And why do we take refuge in the three jewels? It is because without taking refuge in the three jewels, you cannot attain enlightenment. Because as I mentioned, refuge is the first step on the Buddhist path, which also includes the Mahayana path. And so by taking refuge in the three jewels, eventually, when one attains enlightenment oneself, by taking refuge in the Buddha, one oneself will become a Buddha. By taking refuge in the Dharma, oneself will be able to teach the Dharma to sentient beings. And by taking refuge in the Sangha, one oneself will have a Sangha gathering of disciples to teach the Dharma. The duration of taking refuge in the three jewels is not just a lifetime commitment in this case, but it is a commitment which one must keep from lifetime to lifetime until one attains enlightenment. And when we take refuge in the Buddha, we're not just taking refuge in Buddha Shakyamuni, we're taking refuge in all of the Buddhas residing in the 10 directions and all of the Buddhas of the three times, past, present, and future. When we take refuge in the Dharma, we are taking refuge in the Mahayana Dharma, to be precise. When we take refuge in the Sangha, we are taking refuge in the enlightened bodhisattvas. And usually the precepts related to refuge is that once having taken refuge in the Buddha, you cannot accept a non-Buddhist teacher as your spiritual guide on the path to enlightenment. And once having taken refuge in the Dharma, you must not harm sentient beings. And once having taken refuge in the Sangha, you must not make Dharma friends with non-Buddhists. So those are the precepts. If you break any one of those, then your refuge in any one of those three jewels has become broken, and you are no longer a Buddhist. Following that, there is a prayer. This is a further extension, it seems, of the refuge prayer. With the devoted body, speech, and mind, we take refuge in all the holy root and lineage masters. With devoted body, speech, and mind, we take refuge in the holy Buddha, the teacher who has eliminated all obscurations and completed all realizations. With devoted body, speech, and mind, we take refuge in the holy Dharma, the teachings represented by all the scriptures and realizations. With devoted body, speech, and mind, we take refuge in the holy Sangha, the bodhisattvas who are upholding the doctrine. So this is to be recited 3 times. And above the 3 jewels, we have the Guru, which is the 4th refuge. Well, it is the first in the 4th, but it's an extra object of refuge compared to the usual 3 jewels. This is because the Guru is most important in Vajrayana. Because although the Buddha is the teacher who shows the path, who has shown the path to liberation, the path which leads one out of suffering, due to our inferior merit, we do not have a personal connection to the Buddha. We have a connection, but it is not personal. We have not directly met the Buddha Shakyamuni, for example. We have not had the opportunity to listen directly to the nectar of his teachings. And we do not have the merit to say, to have become Dharma friends with Shakyamuni Buddha's immediate disciples, like Shariputra or Moggallana, for example. What merit we do have is that we have had the merit for the Guru to personally look after our spiritual development on the path of the Dharma. We have a special and personal connection with the Guru. And in Vajrayana, unlike the Mahayana or casual vehicle, the spiritual teacher is not similar to the Buddha. The spiritual teacher is the Buddha in Vajrayana. And the Guru is the one who ripens our minds through the four empowerments and sows the seeds for our eventual enlightenment in our mind. And so therefore, we owe a lot to the Guru. The Guru is very kind to us. And therefore, in consideration of that, the Guru is placed before the Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha. In reality, the Guru's nature is not different from the Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha. The Guru's nature is also not different from the Yidam, the tutelary deity, and the Dharmapalas, or the Dakinis, the Dharma protectors. In fact, in Vajrayana, the Buddhas are emanations of the Guru. The Dharma is the emanation of the Guru. The Sangha is the emanation of the Guru. The Yidam is the emanation of the Guru, and the Dharmapala. Likewise, the Dakinis are all the emanations of the Guru. They are all the play of the Guru, the enlightened play of the Guru. And the Guru is the source of all of these. So therefore, the Guru holds a special place before the three jewels. Following this, there is another prayer. O peerless Guru and precious triple gem, to you I bow down and address my prayer. May you bless my body, speech, and mind, and those of each and every being. So here, it shows that you're not just taking refuge alone, but you're including all sentient beings. And you're taking refuge with them to the three jewels and the Guru. And you're requesting for the benefit to not just be for you to enjoy alone, but for all sentient beings to enjoy the benefits together, to receive the blessings together. And here is the main prayer for the blessings. Bless me so that my mind turns towards the Dharma. Bless me so that the Dharma arises as the path. Bless me so that the delusions on the path may be swept away. Bless me so that all delusions may dawn as wisdom. This has a connection with parting from the four attachments, with the four lines, which, as I mentioned earlier, I will not repeat again. Furthermore, bless me so that thoughts that contradict the Dharma cease. Bless me so that love and compassion grow. Bless me so that I may practice the true bodhicittas. Bless me so that I may swiftly reach Buddhahood. These are the prayers which we make for the request of the blessings. It's quite clear, so I do not need to explain that, I think. Yeah. And then in the manual that I have, I don't see this dissolution part. it goes straight to the generation of bodhicitta. So I will skip this part. Of course, you can recite it when you practice, but I will not explain it this time because I'm basing my explanation today on the Tibetan manual which I have. So to go to the generation of bodhicitta, there is the prayer, to free all beings who are all my mothers, I shall reach Buddhahood. Therefore, I will practice this profound yoga, which is the path of all the Buddhas. So you recite this 3 times. This is the generation of bodhicitta. The generation of bodhicitta needs to go before any of the actual practices. It shows that whatever practice you do, whatever Mahayana practice you do or Vajrayana practice you do, in the end, it needs to be motivated by bodhicitta, the wish to attain enlightenment for the sake of all sentient beings. And that is the main lesson which you need to take from this verse. And in order to attain enlightenment for the sake of all sentient beings, the Buddha taught many different types of teachings. The Buddha taught 84,000 teachings. Actually, he taught more than 84,000 teachings. 84,000 teachings are just the number which his disciples, such as Ananda, remembered. But because space is limitless, so are the number of sentient beings. And because sentient beings are limitless, so are the teachings of the Buddha. So the teachings of the Buddha are limitless. And the Buddha showed different methods to attain enlightenment based on the different needs of sentient beings. And one of the methods which the Buddha taught is this profound yoga, the union of the great compassionate one and Mahamudra, which we are practicing today. So after having generated bodhicitta, we have completed the preliminaries, which are the refuge and the bodhicitta. And now we come to the actual part of the practice or the meditation, or the actual part of the sadhana. So the actual part starts with the mantra, the purification mantra, Om Swabhava Shuddha Sarva Dhamma Swabhava Shuddhaham. So this mantra transforms all of the appearances into emptiness. So all of the impure perception we have, whether it may be the physical place, or our impure perception of other beings, or our impure perception of sound, or our impure mental activity, everything is transformed into emptiness. And because it is transformed into emptiness, anything is possible when it is empty. So out of this emptiness with infinite possibilities, we generate the body of the enlightened deity, which is called the creation stage. Because we create through our visualization the body of the deity by associating our own body with the body of the deity. We transform it. So the following verses are on the visualization of how to visualize yourself as Avalokiteshvara, who is known as Chenesik in Tibetan. From that vast, unbounded Dharma realm springs a precious wish-fulfilling throne, a lotus unstained by worldly faults, and a moon disk of clear light essence. There, on top of that, I sit as Lord Jealousy himself. I will add some words in between so it becomes easy to understand. The nature of all Buddhas in one, White as an immaculate water crystal or conch, my extremely beautiful smiling face is peaceful and charming. My first pair of hands is folded at my heart. The second pair holds a crystal jeweled beads rosary, and the second hand holds a lotus. I think the translation for this line, the second pair holds a crystal, jewel, beads, rosary, and a lotus, is a little inaccurate. I think there was a little mistake in the translation because the jewel should go with the lotus. As I mentioned, in this case, the jewel is on top of the lotus, which Cheresi holds on his left hand. So Tibetan it says Oma Shelting Norbu Pema Zin. So I can see how the mistake was made. There's three words: Shelting, which is the crystal rosary; Norbu, which is the jewel; and Bema, which is the lotus. So in this verse, they're all together, and the translator needs to separate them. But instead of putting Shelteng and Norbu Bema together, the translator put Shelteng, Norbu, and Bema like that. So the place where the translator divided those three hand emblems, I guess you would say, there was a mistake. That's why there's a mistake in the translation. This kind of thing happens. We have, sometimes we call the Potala Palace, right? Podan Chimpo, Potala. But when you're not able to translate or divide the words rightly, and you call it Podan Chimpo Potala. So this kind of mistake happens at times. But anyways, it's good to know this. There's a mistake here in the translation. Continuing on, my beautiful legs are crossed in the adamantine posture, the Vajra posture, which is the cross-legged posture. Fine silks and precious jewels adorn me. My blue-black hair is heaped on my head. So it is like, as you see in the Sambhogakaya paintings of the Sambhogakaya Buddhas. So it's Zhangluze. So it's like a matted hair, like dreadlocks, kind of matted hair. Yeah. And above my crown, smiling to me, or smiling at me, sits the master of our lineage, the lineage of Avalokiteshvara, my root guru in the form of Lord Amitabha. So in this case, you're visualizing yourself in the form of Avalokiteshvara, and your root guru is in the form of Buddha Amitabha, seated on the crown of your head. Usually, if you look at the iconography of Avalokiteshvara, generally there are many bodhisattvas, but how does Avalokiteshvara stand out from the other bodhisattvas? If you look at the paintings or the sculptures of Avalokiteshvara, if you see a figure, it can be a small figure on the crown of Avalokiteshvara, on the crown of the head of the bodhisattva. In most cases, you can say that that is Avalokiteshvara for sure. Although Aryatara also has this feature. But of course, Avalokiteshvara is more popularly known to have Amitabha on the crown of his head. So my root guru in the form of Lord Amitabha all Buddhas, wisdom in one, the foremost refuge. My divine form is but a reflection, a non-dual coincidence of form and void, similar to the handsome and pleasing image in many gobs of a player in a phantom dance. So actually, I explained all of this already during the creation stage, during the Jena. So it would be like taking up extra time if I were to explain it all over again. I already explained it in detail, and this is just the same. It's just appearing in the form of verses. And this is for your daily practice, if you wish to do so. Following this, you pray to the Guru by folding your hands at your heart and with single-minded devotion to the Guru, Amitabha, who is seated upon your head. So you pray, precious teacher, all refuge in one, triumphant, blessed Tathagata, fully enlightened Amitabha, take heed of me with your loving mind. Bless me to purify my present karma, evil deeds and veils. The veils would refer to the two obscurations. The obscurations of the mental afflictions and the obscuration to knowledge. The first obscuration prevents you from escaping samsara, and the second obscuration prevents you from attaining full enlightenment. So by praying to Buddha Amitabha to dispel these two obscurations, enlightenment can become manifest. Bless me to perfect the true accumulations. The true accumulations is the accumulation of merit and the accumulation of wisdom. The actual term would be the accumulation of gnosis, but it's close to wisdom. And bless me with deepest meditation for successful deep meditation, and bless me to swiftly reach the Buddhahood. So you recite this prayer 3 times with great devotion and with your hands in the mudra praying, folded at the heart. And so with this, you have completed the creation of the deity, and you have also supplicated the Guru, Amitabha. And now we come to the meditation on Mahamudra, which is like, you could say, the perfection stage or completion stage. It goes as, the mind is the root of all phenomena, of samsara and nirvana, of all joy and woe. When examined, it lacks any color and form. Therefore, it is empty of being a... I don't know if this being is translated twice. Should perhaps be, therefore, it is empty of being singular or... It's empty of being... Maybe, I don't know. Therefore, it is empty of being singular or multiple entity. But anyways, whatever the case is, it is empty of a singular or multiple nature. And since it is empty, it does not arise, abide, or cease. However, its vivid clarity is free from elaborations. This peaceful nature of the mind is the great freedom from extremes. This is one of actually my favorite verses, a set of verses, because it so clearly shows how do you approach the examination of the empty nature of the mind. And also this, I have already explained this during the Janang. When we, if you remember the part where I said that It's empty in nature, free, it doesn't have a color or shape. It's not singular or multiple. And because it's empty of nature, there's no creation, abiding, or ceasing. And yet it is vast. The mind is vast. It is vivid. It is clear. It has clarity. It is vast like the sky. So we went through that visualization already. So there's no need to really go through it again. But anyways, this nature is free from any of the elaborations. Or you could call it free from any of the four extremes. The four extremes are existing, non-existing, both existing and non-existing at the same time, and neither any of those. And so all of those are extremes. Even if you think that everything is non-existent, nothing is true, and you are attached to that thought, then, as I mentioned earlier during parting from the four attachments, you do not have the right view. Because in order to have the right view, you must not grasp at anything, not even to the idea of emptiness. If you grasp to things thinking this is empty, then your meditation is not correct. Or at least it's as I said, you do need to approach the conceptualist meditation through concepts. When you begin, we have no choice but to do that. But I'm just saying that if you were to do that, your conceptualist or conceptless meditation would not really be conceptless meditation because you're approaching it with concepts. But we have no choice. And it is through approaching it in this way that we can eventually understand or meditate without concepts. It's at least a stepping stone to our meditation on emptiness. So when you practice this, you can still use a little bit of imagination or concepts. As long as you get a rough idea of the nature of the mind, something close to it, it is good enough. Because as I said, you cannot get a direct experience until you attain the first stage of the bodhisattva. So that's a little bit far off. So again, you do not need to worry about that. And so let's see. So it says, at this point, enter into meditation of Mahamudra, allowing the mind to be totally relaxed, free from any mental effort, and free from grasping at thoughts or mental images. So at least we need to make an attempt to do this, even if we're not successful. And this is a very important point because it says we need to be totally relaxed. It shows that we should not force ourselves. The meditation on emptiness should be as natural as possible because you're meditating on the natural state. If you put too much unnatural effort into approaching this natural state, there's never a good balance. There's never a good combination between unnatural effort and natural state. The natural state should be approached at best in a natural manner, through natural effort. This also means, when we say natural effort, you need to be relaxed when you practice. You need to be comfortable when you practice. For this, you need to create the right conditions to meditate. As I said, for us, we have monkey mind. We are highly influenced by the distractions of the world. And so therefore, it is good to meditate in a secluded place, away from noises, from distractions. It doesn't necessarily mean you need to escape from your home and go to a hilltop or a forest, but you can just maybe lock your door in your room and filter out any sound by closing the windows, and create the right conditions for peaceful meditation. Your seat should also be quite comfortable, not something which would cause you pain as you meditate. And you should also be in the right posture, at best, the Vairochana posture, the 7-point Vairochana posture. So, for example, just to name a few, your Vajras, your legs are cross-legged in the Vajra posture. And or even if you cannot do that, which is usually not comfortable for beginners, you can do the half Vajra posture. So similar to how Virupa is usually seated. And your hands in the Samadhi Mudra, and your back should be straight. Your spine should in fact be like it is a stack of coins, straight as a stack of coins. Because when your body is straight, the veins, the inner subtle veins in your body will also become straight. And when those veins are straight, the subtle wind which goes through those veins also becomes straight. The passage becomes clear. It can freely move back and forth. And when the wind is circulation, I guess you could say, or the passage of the wind is going well through your veins, then that causes or leads to clarity of the mind. So sometimes when we do meditation and we feel so distracted and all of these thoughts arise, it might just be one reason or contributing factor would be because we're not sitting right, perhaps. So anyways, those are important points. Yes, and then the breathing should be natural as well. And we also say that, traditionally say that closing your eyes and meditating is not really a Buddhist practice. So anyways, this might be more of a Vajrayana or Mahayana saying, because I do see Theravadas practicing with their eyes closed. So I do not exactly know if it is recommended in their tradition. I cannot say that for sure. But anyways, the eyes should be rested, sort of like at the tip of one's nose. And eyes should not be too widened or too closed. If your eyes are too widened, it will strain your eyes. Your eyes will get watery. And if you close your eyes too much or it's too close, you'll feel drowsy or sleepy. So it should be like we see in the Buddha statues. The eyes are like half closed, half open at best. And that's a little bit difficult to train. But if you train for long enough, it is said that you can meditate like that without blinking for a prolonged period of time. Following that, we now come to the recitation of the mantra. So for this, we need to chant and visualize as we chant. In the center of my heart, on a lotus skin moon disk, is the syllable Shi, surrounded by the 6-syllable mantra, which is Om Mani Padme Hum, whose rays of light invoke the Buddha's compassion to bless me, as well as to accomplish the welfare of all the 6 realms beings, or beings of the 6 realms. So this is, we need to think of this before we recite the mantra. And then following that, we now recite the mantra of Avalokiteshvara, Om Mani Padme Hum, 500 times or more. And this is very easy because it doesn't take long to recite 500 times. It's very short and easy to recite. So it's not very time consuming either. And then in here we have this Avalokiteshvara Dharani that starts with Namaranataya, Namaya, and so on. But anyways, this does not appear in Ngorchen Kunchol Lundrup's manual. I think it was added, maybe by the translator, I'm not sure. It can be added perhaps, I don't see a big problem, but it's not in the manual, at least not in the one I have or see. So you can skip this if you wish to as well. It's not necessary, it's certainly not necessary. And following that, following the recitation, you must visualize, you don't need to chant this, but you can visualize that at the end of the session, the throne, the lotus, and the moon on which I sit dissolve into light and are absorbed upward into myself. And with this, the dissolution of the visualization has been completed. Everything dissolves into the natural state, in other words. And with this, the practice is complete. And because it is complete, we now come to the dedication of merits. By this merit, may all beings and I lead long and healthy lives in the Dharma, and then be reborn in Sukhavati and swiftly attain Lord Cheris's stage, with my body, speech, and mind never parting from his form, his mantra, and his wisdom. May I aid beings with compassion and fill the role of a bodhisattva. In this life, the next, and the pardo, may Amitabha, the best guide, hold us with his compassion hook and shield us from samsara and nirvana's faults. By the merit that I have accrued, may I swiftly reach Genesis stage and lead up to unto this most sacred goal, all living beings without exception, supreme guardian of the northern land, filled with wise and accomplished beings, light of the doctrine in the land of snows, may the teachings of Sakya increase. Vajrasana of the snowy realm, may the Dharma rule of Sakya grow. May the lineage be never broken, and may its great deeds be vast as space. Dharma Lord Pandita and Guru of beings, you are the wise and venerable Lord Manjushri. May the teachings of the second Buddha, the glorious Sakyapa, be blessed so that they endure forever. So this is the dedication of marriage. No need to explain any of this. It's very clear. And Ngorchen Kuncho Lundrup finally leaves a few comments by saying that recite in this way whatever dedication and wishing prayers you know, then at all times, thinking that the place where you live is Sukhavati, train yourself in performing the welfare of beings with compassion, without being ever separated from the 3 approaches. Meditating that you are accomplishing that with the divine pride of being Cherisi as a service for your Lama Amitabha. So this is also quite clear. It shows that after the meditation session, or after you perform your sadhana, even in the post-meditation session or post-meditation stage, whether you are walking, sitting, eating, talking, if you are an advanced practitioner, even if you're sleeping, you need to associate your three doors with the enlightened three doors of Cheresik. So all appearances are Cheresik. All beings appear in the form of Cheresik, including yourself. All the sounds you hear are the mantra of Cheresik, Om Mani Padme Hum, and all of the thoughts, or the conceptual thoughts, are all of the thoughts that arise in your mind are the wisdom of Cheresik. And by doing this, you will be practicing Cheresik in both the meditation and post-meditation stage. And by doing that, the path to enlightenment will be very near. And by visualizing yourself as Cheresik and your root guru as Buddha Amitabha, and with this kind of view or mindset, if you offer your services to the guru, and if you perform merits towards the guru in this way, it is excellent. Finally, we come to the colophon. I, the monk, Kuncho Lundub, vote this practice of the union of Mahakaruna and Mahamudra, a precept of the illustrious founder of Sakya and his sons, et mor evam cheden, on the insistence from afar by my own disciple, Trapa Gyaltsen, that there was needed a versified sadhana of the great compassionate one. Having quickly written it, I sent it to Dokam in eastern Tibet. So with this, we have completed the teaching, and we will now recite the long life prayers and the dedication and merit.
Banden zave lama rinpoche dagi chivura bime deshane kaji jembo gune jison kuzun duyi ngozhaban zado so chime meshe sonwe gurukana chime cheze lame jede chime chela wangbe zonan gen chime zeye ngozhaban zado Rizong me de ye la la ne gen zi ne do ran su nye ma sa de lo do be za ge zi ne de ja le she ge do ta de nga wa ye zhe le la de ke ge don zhe ge ga zhen te jie dong an bian de bao do ba de wei zhen le jie san bei le wan jie jia le bo xiao de nam da chen de si re jie sa xie lan de sa ma guan bei rin jie du le ma jian qi zi zuan da zi de ba de yan jiao zhu ri wa le bu de de shu Gyalawai Nyepa Nzeze Koma Nye Gyalde Jide Nye Ye Tsema Gyalwe Lansa Samo Lobshe Gyalwa Jishe Tunze Shabde Zo Bezo Gyalase Tunye Jashe Bala Balde Saye Chese Balavara Nejo Zale Zebe Gendo Je Jeshe Sasoba Doroje Dorades Lume Lama Chosoba Doje Da Hidava Deso Gyase Tudo Chenye Zamo Gyurme Dembe Jidra Sulavi Dede Drub Gyuro Je Pezo Zeye Seje Bame Ge Bezo Seje Lamo Namgyala Benzo la da juba re ze ge benzo da ba ta be ngwa nga wa wa ju den be sa wa ju ro ge ge ga lo je ge ge ze she ze na je je ju je be so wa je la be wa ju sha de so cho de la be sa so ma re je ze je do ma je me do ro je he ne ne ye je le na be sa so ma kwe ja jang ge de be ni ma sha de zo ta de she ja la ma do ke be zhuo zi zi jiang be yang da gong bo ji le cho me ka we na da na me le re me ma we se ye sha de zo la zo zhe me qian be sha xie zo zhou we jiao ge du jie si zi ren ji ta be zu ge ne do ban de zi de ren do de wa ju zu do xiao de zhang ge zhou de si re ye zhe xie zi ren zhe xie lang xie ku xie jia da la wan yi ren ne re be me do ke re lo ge ye de jia xie da ye xiao de zi che ze ze zhe si re ye ku ji re la nga ye ren je din ye ka lo ji re la ma do re je so me zhuo de da ji ge ze ye do ba yi ru je do la je me cho je ce ye la ma zha so zhu re jia so je la ba nge zhe ba ze ba me be de ren ju re me da ba da be xie ba zo zhe la ge ge ba je re je so ji de re so ke ze ne be ga Khöndung zhe me ngo sa ra zhu le be guan do ru zhe zhen be zu ye xiao de su ji ye xie jia du zhe ye be zhen ji xi ne lu ngue ji ren zhu le be bo Zhe ka wa zi zhi du ye da me ba shabde zi xie niao zi zhang gu zi wa chen den jie xie zha gui qie ban zhen tu da wan da nie kun de ren zhen ya zi wa dang ba ka jia ra shabde ne da ra ha la san ba da be so da de chen ye de do cho so wa la ma den zen zhu be zhu de he me sha de che le be wen ye le zo che me de je su ren do ye xie kan che me he gu ro jin we bong san che me da ba dang be ga den chun che me xin ye gong be den de re Kien ra ba ngai ye wang be zhe zhuo xian zhe ge ga zi zi qian ya le wei tu da ba du me du le jie zin be ba la si su mo wan yi re nie ma xiao de Jiang ba la yang e zi zhi sa yan bi nian jie ce ma xie dian du zi dian dian zhe li zi ma ran bi jian bi nao zhi le to mi du le jie xiao de Zhen sa wan jie yan dun de yo wan nan qian zhi to mi niu gu jie wen zi guan bian za le jian bi duan zha wa yan ji de jin ji ren du le jie xiao de Sol de ben do ba me ba do le je le za zo mo ge la wa se je rao je po zha yu zhe dan be na wa ye le be mo je je ra xie ji ru je guan zhe ren je son ye je la da ga zhe ga we tu da ne ba ga we de ze zhang ya yao se zo gu zi ren xie chen le ye ji ra je la ma guan ga ma san la so wa de zhou du gu zi ren la so wa Lama Dava Jela Solova De Lama Dava Mebara Jinye Guzi Rewa Shindo Tenpa Dan Tenzi Nyenda Shindo Salawat Nyenda Namkan Dabura Kyamba Yenda Shinde Ya Dendere de le jo chang ju jo be jo ba ju ji ran ba ye zhe ba ya zi ya zi ga wen ga ren zhe de den ba sa jian ba sa yan ba ye den ba yi ru ga jian be yin de wan du le jie de ba de sa ye che se ye ba da zhu le bie dun ye jun jie me zhong ne gui jia chen le nam kan yan ba lai xuan zhou bie la ma che zi ba yan zhen 天道吧，我这自自将别样，要了吧，涅吧，巴列三呀，天吧，有人那边扎西说，天边巴吉勒拉面下边天天子一波萨的要来。 Tenpe jinda nga tan jorba yen tenpa yure nebe dajish mi jura lemba kuyen dajish yela juju songyen dajish Tadara denduan toyen dajish Gyāvī kūsūn tujīn dāshī ngui gyā lāma nāmjī tujī dā lūmi kuñjū sōngjī chīlā chūsūn tāmjī gyāsī nidū jī sāma chūshīn chūbīn dāshī shū Ye ma ye gu du ga ra zu san ye ye wu la ye tu je jin ye zhu la zi ji re se la cha za lo ma ne be me ho o 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 mane be me ho, 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 o mane be me ho. O mane be me ho, 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 o mane be me ho. O mane be me ho, 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 o mane be me ho. O mane be me ho, 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 o mane be me ho. O mane be me ho, 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 o mane be me ho. O mane be me ho, 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 inge wan de nyurada dan jere zelan jojiran Roa jiya ma le man de sala enge mara sho